Hey everybody, today is June 14th and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin finally breaking 40,000. So the question is this the breakout we've been looking for and this is going to continue up higher, or is the correction going to continue and we might continue down lower? Before we begin, please read this disclaimer and you can pause this video as you read it. Okay, so obviously in the past 2 to 3 months we've been in basically a big correction of over 50%, and I talked about in previous videos how I wanted Bitcoin to at least hold 30,000 at the bare minimum, right? I mean, this level is really crucial because this is our previous Fibonacci support level, which we held during our first correction back in January of this year, right? So if we don't hold this level, I talked about how if we break 30,000, we're going to go down to 20,000, right? Which is basically our next major Fibonacci support level, and also the previous all-time high set back in 2017, late 2017, right? And that's bad because every time Bitcoin has broken out into new all-time highs, it never went down and retested the previous all-time highs from the previous cycle. So we really need to hold 30,000. And the next level I talked about in previous videos is this 200-day simple moving average, which is this blue line, right? I talked about how in previous cycles, we always held above this blue line, right? So as you can see, from late 2015 to 2017, the past cycle, bull cycle, we always held above this blue line. We only went below it one time in August of 2016, but we never closed below it, right? We wicked below it and we closed above it. So the fact that we're below this blue line, that's bad, right? The longer we spend below this blue line, the 200-day simple moving average, our long-term moving average, the more likely we are to plunge into a bear market. So I talked about how at the bare minimum, we want to hold 30,000, but we also want to get above the 200-day, which right now is at 42,000. Now, we had a really great development over the last 24 hours, right? We saw the price basically spike higher, and we actually broke 40,000. And right now, we are struggling to hold above 40,000. But if we can hold above 40,000, I think the probability of us going higher then is a lot higher than us going lower, right? And what we really need to reclaim the 200-day simple moving average around 42,000. Now, let's look at what was the major driver to help us break above 40,000, right? Of course, a major driver is Elon Musk. Yesterday, there was this article from Cointelegraph talking about how Elon was like pumping and dumping the Bitcoin markets, crypto markets, but Elon Musk basically came in and basically defended himself and said that Tesla only sold 10% to see if Bitcoin was liquid, right, without moving the market and stuff like that. And he said that when there's confirmation of a reasonable 50% clean energy uses by miners, right, Tesla will resume allowing Bitcoin transactions. So right now there's more hope that Tesla will resume Bitcoin transaction, and this is one of those catalysts that I said that might save Bitcoin if Elon Musk were to resume accepting Bitcoin. So right now he's not doing it. He's waiting for more clean energy to come in to crypto mining space. So there's at least hope, right? There's at least hope. So this is really giving Bitcoin a nice spike, push up higher, because I mean, we've basically just been going sideways, right? There's really just been relentless FUD, just bad news after bad news, like really nothing. I mean, just look at the fear and greed index, right? Just 28, like so low. Like the last time we were this low is back in the pandemic, right? But I also said that the last time we were this low, this was a great buying opportunity, right? And of course, this is not a financial advice channel. This is just my own analysis. This is for entertainment purposes. But if we look at this trend, it does seem like we are starting to find momentum to the upside, right? And this is around the same time like of last year, around over here, when we're starting to see the fear and greed pick up a little bit. And then of course we had this incredible run. So the question is, are we seeing something very similar? Like, is this looking similar to this? I mean, it looks kind of similar, right? We had this push up, kind of starting to stall and then push down higher. Sort of similar, right? Up, stalling, and then push down higher. So let me just zoom in so you can see with more detail. So I do think we are seeing something that could be similar to what we saw last year over here, where we came up, sort of stalled, and then came down pretty hard, went sideways, but eventually pushed up, resumed higher, right? So the question is, are we seeing something similar? Are we starting to see a similar pattern where we come up, stall, come down, find the bottom, start to grind, find support, push up higher, and then eventually break out to the upside? So that's what I think is going to happen. It might take a couple more days, a couple more weeks. As you can see, we just fell below 40,000 again, but this is pretty common stuff. Like when we break a major support, a resistance level like 40,000, of course, the buyers and the bears are going to have a bit of a fight in the short term, but I do think that I do think that there's more momentum to the upside right now in terms of not only the technicals but also the fundamentals, right? I mean, if we just look at the daily the technicals, you can see that we were making lower highs for a long time, right, over here, and also lower lows, right? And to give you more perspective, you can look at this line chart, right? This shows you the daily closes. We're having lower highs and lower lows. So this is a bearish downtrend. But now that we finally had this spike, we're actually breaking above. So you can see we're starting to break above these lower highs, right? And making higher lows now, potentially. We still need to see how this is going to close. I mean, the market is going to close in a couple hours. I'm sorry, not the market. The daily close is going to close in a couple hours. Bitcoin never closes 24/7. But I want to see us to close above. Whoops, my bad. I want to see us close above 40,000, right? Or at least 35.9, right? If we can close above roughly 39,500 to 40,000, right? What I want to see is a break above, maybe come down, retest, find support, and then push up higher. So that's the pattern that I want to see, right? And then this could have been a multi-week bottom support level base that we built that's giving us more of a foundation to break up higher, right? Like a more stable base of supporters coming in and taking supply off the market. So yes, of course, something we have to look out for is a potential death cross over here, the 50 crossing the 200-day. In traditional markets, that's a bad technical cross. We already had a 50 crossing the 100-day over here. So if this crosses, that's usually a bad sign. However, if we can get the price above while the death cross is happening, then we can nullify that, and of course we're going to push the momentum to the upside and cross this more in the bullish posture. MACD is looking stronger, right? Seeing more green positive histogram bar prints over here. Of course, we had a cross a couple days ago pushing up higher. That's good. We want to see the MACD push up to positive territory now, right? And shift the momentum from sellers to buyers. Same thing with the RSI. We had oversold over here, and actually bought some crypto coins and also stocks on mining stocks, and I'm starting to see the momentum shift up now above 50, which is good, right? Now we're in neutral to neutral bullish. I want to see us push up higher, right? I talked about in previous videos how these oscillators have been coming down while the price has been going up, right? See the MACD coming down, RSI coming down while the price going up. That's a bear divergence, and that's why we had such a large plunge, right? But now we're reset the oscillators coming up to neutral territory right now, right? And we want to see a nice push up higher. We want to see strong buying volume, and that's going to help push the oscillators up, signal a shift from the sellers to the buyers, and a potential rise in the price, right? But yeah, so Paul Tudor Jones, of course, he's a Bitcoin advocate. He's been talking about buying Bitcoin for many months now. He's a legendary trader from the 80s, right? He's talking about how the inflation that we're seeing right now, like people are saying it's temporary, but he's making a case that this could be the start of a longer-term inflationary cycle, right? And that could be great for Bitcoin because Bitcoin is seen as a hedge against inflation because you can print a lot of money, but you can't print more Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin has a supply cap of 21 million, and it's has a controlled release of supply every 10 minutes, 6.5 Bitcoin. That gets halved every 4 years. So with absolute scarcity, Bitcoin is seen as a hedge against inflation, right? Endless printing, expansion of the monetary supply of the US dollar, and currencies all around the world, really. So another thing is Michael Saylor's company, MicroStrategy, raises another 500 million from selling bonds to buy more Bitcoin. And of course, with the spike in Bitcoin today, we're starting to see MicroStrategy stock, of course, a nice 16% rise in. Also mining stocks that I like, Riot and Riot Blockchain, Marathon, Digital Holdings. I have some of those that I've been picking up while when Bitcoin signaled oversold, right? So just in the spirit of transparency, those are some of my positions. But at the same time, again, do your own research, make your own decisions. This is not financial advice. Don't copy my trades or anything like that. Just trying to be honest and transparent with my trades. Again, for the spirit of transparency, I did buy some over here. Of course, that ended up not being a good entry because I thought we can hold this level, right? But we didn't. So I ended up buying a little bit more over here. So hopefully this holds and comes up. And yeah, so just to reiterate, like, nobody's perfect trader. And I don't, by own means, expect anybody to get 100%, as I didn't get 100%. But that's a challenge, and really the journey of trading is that you never really master the markets, right? You do your best under circumstances, and you protect yourself in case you're wrong. So always learning, always trying to get better as a trader. And so that's the crypto markets. Just let's really quickly look at the macro. Of course, part of the reason why I think we plunged so hard is that we went way too quickly, right? We had 6 consecutive green candles, so 50% correction. And just look at how we found strong support on this Fibonacci line right here. So I think that's going to be strong support, and I think that's going to hold. And very quickly, looking back, similarly, back in 2013, right? 6 consecutive green candle followed by 2 red candles, sorry, and then a push up higher. So this ended up being a mid-cycle pullback, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. Let's look at a clean chart, right? 6 here, 2 red, and then push up higher. That's also what we're seeing right here. 6 green, 2 red candles, and a push higher. Similarly, right now, 6 green candles, 2 red candles, and then a push up higher, right? Right now, we flipped this monthly candle into a green candle. Of course, we still need to wait about 15 days before this candle closes, but right now it's looking pretty good. It looks like the buyers are stepping in and buying this, and this could be a potential bottom, a mid-cycle top before we continue up higher. I don't want this video to drag on too long. Just a quick update. So if you want more details, I have other charts, other indicators that I talk about in my previous videos. Can Bitcoin avoid a bear market, and will Bitcoin rise in June? These videos are 25 minutes, and they provide more details, so definitely check those videos out if you want to see other indicators and charts explaining why I believe Bitcoin is going to continue higher beyond 100,000 by the end of this year. Now, of course, the weekly chart, we saw strong volume. Usually when we see a lot of volume, that ends up being an indicator that the top or the bottom is in, right? So we saw a big volume indicator back in strong selling volume indicator, indicating that we had a potential bottom back in March when we dumped, right? This record volume here. And now we have strong volume over here. See this big red candle, right? And this is potentially showing that this is a short-term bottom, just like we had a big red candle over here, showing, signaling that we have potential short-term bottom, and then we ended up going a lot higher. So I do think that this is going to be the bottom of this correction. But of course, we want to see more follow-through. So just to summarize, I'm feeling more bullish on Bitcoin now. Been buying all these dips as it's coming down, and so far it's looking like it's paying off. But what we want to see is we want to see Bitcoin at the bare minimum hold 30,000, which it looks like we're doing right now. But now we want to see it reclaim 40,000, which is what it's struggling to do right now, just barely below 40,000. But I mean, this is not surprising given that 40,000 is a strong psychological level, right? But what we really want to see next is for us to hold, break above, and reclaim the 200-day simple moving average, which right now is around 42,500. We want to break above the 200-day, hold above the 200-day, and push up higher. Our next major resistance can be 47,000, this Fibonacci level. Why? Because we held here, but we finally broke the third time. So it's going to be strong resistance all the way up to 50,000. But once we break 50,000, I think that reclaiming the previous all-time high here should be easier than trying to break through over here, these resistance levels. And I can see us going up to 80,000, which should be our next strong resistance level. And of course, 100,000, which is the big psychological resistance level. Once we break 100,000, all bets are off, right? Anything can happen, right? 200, 300,000. Again, I went more into detail of how high Bitcoin can go, like 200, 300,000, maybe even 400,000. Just check out my videos, and I go into can Bitcoin avoid a bear market? Will Bitcoin rise in June? These videos go into more detail on how high Bitcoin could potentially go once it breaks 100,000. So just to summarize, again, definitely want to see if Bitcoin can break above the 200-day simple moving average, around 42,000. That's where I want to look next, right? Baby steps before we reclaim the previous all-time highs back in 65,000 back in April, right? So I'll definitely update you as the price action develops going forward, and we'll see if Bitcoin can hold above 40,000 and reclaim the 200-day simple moving average, or whether this will roll over and continue down lower. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, helpful, informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.